What's up, Panda? Peter from Panda here. I want to show you some magazines here and show you ultimately this new one that I got called the Lancer, and specifically it is the translucent smoke 30 round, 223, 5.56, and it's for your AR-15s. And it's cool because of a polymer and metal construction. So to run down the issue that I think a lot of firearms owners have, and especially guys who maybe want to stay in a prepared state or are worried about home protection, they keep a magazine loaded. I do have some magazines loaded. One, because when I go to the range, it's easier if I've spent some time loading rounds. But one of the issues of keeping polymer magazines loaded like this one, and then the ubiquitous PMag like this, is that the feed lips are kind of under some pretty heavy stress when the magazine's loaded, and it's not an issue that I've ever had where they break, but they certainly can crack, especially if you've got them in a place that isn't super well climate controlled. You keep it in an attic or a barn or a safe that gets really hot, whatever. The other thing that happens is because they're under pressure and you drop them from 30, 40 inches onto the ground, they can absolutely shatter. And then as soon as these lips here crack off, I mean, the magazine's done, right? I mean, all your rounds are just going to fall out. And so a lot of guys don't like keeping rounds loaded in polymer magazines for a long period of time. Now that you do have the option of going to a USGI mag, like a steel mag, which are pretty nice. My issue with those is they don't look very cool. I don't actually even own any of those currently. I used to in the past. And then I know this is kind of dumb, but they sound bad. They're kind of like clanging. They have a really tinny sound to them. I never liked them. Like if you put them in your range bag or something, you could hear them shaking inside. The other thing that the earlier USGI mags had problems with is no anti-tilt features to the follower. So I know in the more recent mags they have kind of anti-tilt capabilities, but I think that's something that you really were upgraded to in like the PMag and this Amend 2 polymer mag. Now, so I do have this thing loaded. You can see here, you have to put a lot of pressure to get those down. I can push these down. This is actually not fully filled, but still, you got to imagine that you've got all that pressure pushing up on these lips. So in walks the Lancer mag into my life. I saw this. I've never had a Lancer mag before. They're kind of known for this translucent plastic, which is cool. It's kind of like a giant window. You can buy PMags with little windows. I've got some of the Hera Arms magazines with a window cut. They're great. You can tell at a glance if they're filled. The smoked polymer here is kind of even better in some ways. You can see what's going on. You can make sure that all of the components are operational. And I've seen generally good reviews about them. I've never tried them per se, but here's the magazine. It looks like there's a button here, and then it slides off the back, as this back here is the bigger part. So you push that down, and this will come apart, and you've got your base there. You can obviously see the spring all the way to the top, and then you have your follower up here. Now this follower is plastic, which is what you'd expect, but the cool thing about this, as opposed to the early USGI mags, is this absolutely seems to have anti-tilt capabilities. You can see there in the translucence, there's a really big kind of point on the front of this follower. So everything about it is very much like the PMag, except for this top portion. This collar all the way around is steel. You get it. And it's pretty nice. It's treated. It's permanently attached, and I know that's what they advertise in the description. I was wondering how they do it. It looks like this sleeve kind of slides onto the top. There's some tabs where it clips in, and then it looks like they bend over the edges here to kind of press on where the clip would go. Right? It might be a little hard to see, but clips on with overlaps with a little piece of polymer there, and then this edge they bend all the way over, so it's not going to come out as far as I can tell. It's not going to slip off when you're loading rounds. And then even in the back here, there's another part where it's underneath the polymer. Now, my guess is if you were really hard on this and you're banging around on rocks and concrete, that the polymer pieces would break first before the metal would give up the ghost. So the cool thing about it is if you're in bad conditions, you know, you're storing your magazines in conditions that are less than ideal, this metal feed lip system is going to, I think, be more durable in the long run, and you're not going to have issues where you might come back and find weakened, you know, discolored polymer where it's weakening, and or find it just cracked and rounds spilled all over. You can see here, you'd have to kind of really look to even tell on this magazine that there's something different about the top. Obviously, it's opaque and not translucent down here, but I think this is really the best of both worlds, especially if you're looking for magazines to store rounds long-term in. Like I said, for a home defense, security situation, maybe you're a professional law enforcement and you don't fire off a lot of rounds and there are some mags that you just want to keep loaded. I think this is a really great alternative to getting the US GI mags. You get the ability to see the rounds and the status of your magazine. You get kind of a light, you know, friendly, durable construction of polymer, and yet all the benefits of the steel up at the top. So just my 2 cents on this Lancer steel hybrid polymer magazine. I think they're pretty cool. Peter von Panda, out.